and you can develop. I have had learning support assistants who have become inclusion teachers, who have become heads of inclusion as well, who have gone on to develop themselves and gone into many career paths. So remember, it is not always stagnant. You don't always have to be. So today we have invited Miss Grace, who will talk to you about career development and growth for learning support assistants. Just a request, please make sure that your mics are muted when you join. Please immediately mute your mics because then you don't disrupt the presenter. So without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Miss Grace, who, by the way, used to work with inclusion before and has herself progressed amazingly. All right, Grace, all yours.
Thank you, Ms. Hamid. Yeah, let me start by then saying this. I have these few questions to ask my colleagues. Do you know that, climbing a mountain requires setting a clear goal to reach the peak? And it needs strategy and preparation on the route planning and gear, overcoming obstacles like steep slopes and weather changes. However, the progress can be incremental while reaching the base camp, and finally, summiting brings a sense of achievement, humor, and bravo. The topic is career growth and development. Career growth is like climbing a mountain, which requires effort, perseverance, and strategy to reach new heights. Literally, career growth is like navigating a ship, which requires setting a course, adapting to changes, and staying focused on the destination. Good day, dear educators. I am Folakemi Grace Alakabi. I'm a SEN educator, career trainer, and mentor, the founder of Pinnacle Inclusion Consultancy. Before I go further, I must appreciate Ms. Armit, Ms. Catherine, and the entire inclusion team for this rare opportunity to speak at a forum like this. Giving LSA's voice in the UAE means a lot. And I can assure you, inclusion stands as the best recruiting education agency in the UAE till date. I'm saying this, and you all can bear me witness, in terms of organization, management, and grooming of the young educators in the special education need field. Up to date, no agency can beat inclusion. I think I'm right. Yeah. So I want to welcome all to this forum. I need your participation. I need your responses to questions because I believe we are all communicators. Yeah, and we are all versed in supporting children with special education needs. Thank you. Apart from the degree in education, I still find out I need some professional certification to work in the UAE as a support teacher, learning support assistant, academic support, inclusion assistant, special education needs teacher, and inclusion teacher. In order to progress and be able to tackle challenges and understand strategies to support my students efficiently and effectively. So with this, I move ahead to pursue all these certifications, which I'm very sure that others are doing, and you still need to do more. Before I move into the plate to what development and growth in learning support assistant in the UAE is, I would like to ask for your own understanding of career growth and development to learning support assistants in the UAE? What do you understand? Like, how can you, what is your own perspective of growth and development to learning support assistants in the UAE? You can put your responses in the chat box. Are you there? What is your own understanding? How do you see career growth and development to a learning support assistant, to an educator? How do you understand growth and development?
Maybe, Grace, some of them might be too shy, or maybe they're here to learn about it. So if they're not comfortable putting it in the chat, it's okay.
Okay.
We are here to guide them. So sometimes the audience feels a bit not as comfortable as they would normally. But it's okay, guys. If as Miss Grace is going along, as she's going along in the presentation, put your comments into the chat box, and then if I need to, I'll stop and I'll ask her to get on your comments.
All right, so while waiting to hear from you, generally career growth is the long-term upward progression of your professional journey, which involves promotion, increased salary, and new titles. Career development is the short-term and ongoing process of acquiring new skills, knowledge, and experience to enable the growth. So you can see together the two, the growth and development, they work together. They work together to structure and manage your professional life. So hence, thank you, not to focus only on LSA, but to look for all the course. Yeah, perfect. You're right. Yeah. So career growth and development for a learning support assistant involves enhancing skills to improve student outcome and progressing towards senior roles like higher level teaching assistant, SEN educator, coordinator, or teacher. It implies, okay. Thank you. Thank you for your response. So professional way to facilitate, how do you facilitate the growth? I hope you can see my slide. Okay. So while discussing growth and development in learning support assistants, so we have to look at ways to facilitate the growth and expected behavior of skills of a learning support assistant. So all these are the various ways to which we can facilitate the growth and development. So when we are discussing about growth and development to learning support assistants, to SEN educators, we need to look at the various ways in which we can achieve this growth and development. So this will lead to me discussing about the behavioral or skills of the learning support assistant. You know, as a special education needs teacher, learning support assistant, you are expected to exhibit a range of skills and qualities to effectively support students with diverse learning needs. These include communication and interpersonal skill. Communication and interpersonal skills, this is the ability to understand and address students' needs, emotion, and behaviors, as well as collaborate with parents, colleagues, and their professionals. You see, communication and interpersonal skills does a lot in ensuring your effectiveness in discharging your duty as a learning support assistant. Communication is very powerful. So this skill is highly crucial for you to exhibit while discharging your duties as a learning support assistant. Patience and empathy. The first thing you need to have personally as a learning support assistant is being patient and emphatic. Putting yourself in the condition of those students you are supporting. In those students you are privileged to support, that is being emphatic. So understanding and patience when working with students who may require extra time of support. You don't have to be in a hurry. Take your time to support them and ensure excellent result at the end of your day. So another thing we have to look into assessment and planning. So while looking at the ways to achieve growth and development, assessment and planning carries a large role, like developing and implementing individualized education plan, IEP, tailored to each student's strengths and challenges. We know the various students we support in our daily activities, so we have different IEP that are planned for these children. So you need to work in line with the IEP, read the IEP, and tailor it towards the child you support, towards the challenge that your child has. So another thing is collaboration and teamwork. Collaboration and teamwork carries a great thing, because for you to work as a learning support assistant, it means you need to work with many personnel in your school. Your teacher, your class teachers, which is your lead teacher, the parents, then all the staff of the school, the inclusion team. So working with general education sectors, general education teachers, therapists, and families to ensure comprehensive support. You may be also required to work with therapists. We have children that have therapists, about 2-3 therapists, occupational therapists, behavioral therapists. So all these, you need to work with them to ensure that you have a good stand and you are able to work effectively in your field. Collaboration and teamwork is very crucial. Then additionally, special education teachers should stay updated on the latest trends and best practices, such as personalized learning, strength-based approaches, and social-emotional learning, like being able to upgrade yourself educationally. You should be able to improve yourself without waiting for anyone to inform you. You should be able to study on your own, read on your own. All this will help you to achieve growth and development. So while we are discussing this will also lead us to the career progression certification. There are a lot of LSAs on the field that don't even have the requirement to work as a learning support assistant, as a SEN educator. I've seen the cases of people that have just secondary school, whole level, that are coming to work as a teacher. Do you know, working as a learning support assistant, it is not only just working not just working to support a child within your own ability. It means to do some things extra miles. You need to be well versed. It means you need to read, to be well read, to be fully prepared, to have your own good understanding of the job you want to do. So these career progression paths, all these are very important for you to have the required certificate to be able to support the child in their school. So the role of a learning support assistant requires specific educational credentials and distinct set of skills and competencies. These foundational requirements are indispensable for individuals aspiring to support students effectively within educational setting. The relevant educational qualifications for a learning support assistant, you should be able to hold a level 2 or 3 certificate in supporting teaching and learning in school. Level 3 certificate, level 2 certificate, we have grade 2, grade 3 teacher. You should be able to hold a grade 2 or grade 3 teacher certificate to be able to qualify as a support teacher or as an inclusion assistant to support a child in the school. Then you need a diploma in special education need, diploma in SEN. To work as a learning support assistant, you need diploma in SEN. You need a degree, that is advanced level. You need a degree in special education need or degree in education. Then certificate in psychology. So all these qualifies you to work as a learning support assistant or inclusion assistant in the educational setting. So while we are discussing advanced level, we have advanced certificates which are certified applied behavioral analysis, ABA. So I think inclusion runs ABA. So if you want to know more about ABA, you can contact Ms. Amit at the end of this forum. ABA, applied behavioral analysis, registered behavioral technician, all these are the professional certification which are required of an LSA to acquire. Then all these will help you to be able to plan your IEP for the child. Then you need to have a certificate in child safety. Child safety, the first aid, you need first aid certificate, safeguarding certificate, and child care certificate. So all this will boost your chances of being able to work to support a child in the classroom.
You
Move
okay,
to the next
Grace?
slide.
Can you move?
Okay.
Yeah.
So while discussing this, we look at the enhanced classroom performance and student outcomes. So with all this certification, trust me, you are going to have better performances to support your child in the classroom. So better support for students, professional development enables learning support assistant to implement IEP education plan more effectively. It also improves your confidence. All these are the prospects of acquiring, certification, not only certification, studying. So all these will help, will boost your knowledge to support your child, to solve problems, to solve challenges in the classroom. So it will boost the confidence in managing challenging behaviors and implementing classroom adaptations, leading to better student engagement. Then it will increase teacher efficacy and retention. High quality training improves teacher confidence, motivation, and job satisfaction, which fosters a more positive classroom environment. Then another thing we have to look at studies. The research indicates that effective professional learning can accelerate student growth. With students taught by highly effective, continuously trained teachers, learning in 6 months what others might take a year to learn. That is research. It means it is what you have upstairs. That is what you have is what you give to your students. You can't be an empty barrel, an empty brain, and give quality education, quality support to your students. That is not possible. So research indicates that effective professional learning increases, it can accelerate students' growth. So all these are the reasons that they are the fact that back up being studied, acquiring good certification for you to work as a learning support assistant. Then with this, we have to mention job interview, interview preparation, because we are discussing professional growth, professional development. Growing requires stages, it requires processes. You don't grow in a day. You know, all these are processes, stages that you need to undergo to be able to get to the peak of your career. So
I'm just going to step in here, Grace, because
all right.
I was the one who requested this. So thank you, Grace. Now, a lot of you have sent CVs to me, have applied for to become an LSA with Incluzun. Now, we are not able to maybe get back to you immediately, but do keep in mind that we take your CV on board and we will put it into our database. So what is very important about Incluzun is we find the right person for the right child. And that's something that we are quite particular about. So if you had sent your CV to me and we get around to you, you would have gone through an interview process with us. Now, during that interview, we had observed a lot of shortcomings, plus also we had observed people with a lot of strengths. So one of the things that I had requested today, Grace, to speak to all of you about is that it would be good if she could talk about being a professional while interviewing. So she's going to run through some very valid points, I hope, and get you guys to understand that it is very, very important that you present yourself professionally. Thank you, Grace. If there's anything you need, just let me know and I'll step in to support you.
Yeah, thank you. That is, yeah. Interview preparation is a very important aspect of professional growth, because for you to get to the next level, you need to be interviewed. You need to be examined. You need to be scrutinized to know what you have and what you can deliver, how you can support. So if you're applying for a learning support assistant, inclusion assistant, SEND educator, you need to ensure that you are fully prepared for any question employers might ask you during your interview. So I categorize interview into 3 stages. There is pre-interview preparation, and post-interview preparation. So pre-interview preparation, you need to read every aspect of special education needs, everything about special education needs. You need to go and do your research. You need to study. You need to get every information. You need to prepare yourself, not just you are going for interview and you don't know the strategies. You don't read strategies of a learning support, strategies to support a child in the classroom, duties of a learning support assistance. What have you done in the past? What are your success stories? What can you do to support a child, to make a child learn in the classroom? You are going for an interview. You don't have the forehand information about the school that's going to interview you, or about the child, about the school that is going to interview you. So all these are the pre-interview preparation that you have to do before you go for the interview. Know the fact about the school that is going, know the type of curriculum they operate, know what makes the school stand out from other curriculums. We have different schools curriculum. We have IB, International Baccalaureate. We have a British curriculum. We have American curriculum, and so on like that. So you need to have the idea of the curriculum that school operates on. So what makes the school stand out? What makes the curriculum stand out? Prepare yourself, read everything about special education needs, read about ADHD, read about strategies to support a child, read about functions of behaviors, everything about special education, make sure you read. You can imagine a learning support assistant that doesn't know the full meaning of ADHD. You can imagine a learning support assistant that doesn't know the full meaning of ASD, and you call yourself a learning support assistant. All these are highly paramount for you to prepare for ahead of the interview. And during the interview, you need to prepare yourself. The interview can be online, it can be physical. So when the interview is online, don't just prepare, okay, since I'm in my house, in my comfort zone, I don't need to dress properly, I don't need to know. Your appearance to show the kind of person you are, should show what job you can deliver. It should show who you are. So make sure you present yourself properly, dress like the person you are as a teacher. And you should be calm. You should be calm. Don't be nervous during the interview. Put on a smiling face. Exchange greetings with the interviewers, and calm down to listen to hear what they have to ask you.
Thank you, Grace. That was a really very valid point. I'm just going to stress on that. So what happens is we realize that some people don't want to listen during the interview. As we are asking a question, there are people who just rattle on, like you can see that they have learned it by heart. They don't understand what they are saying. They are just saying things because they think that they have learned something off by rote, and they think that, oh, okay, this thing is going to get me an answer. No, it's important to understand. It's good that you are learning things and that you are reading up, but it doesn't mean that you are going to learn things by heart and then just vomit it out. If once a question has been posed to you and you don't understand, you can always tell the interviewer, say, can you rephrase the question for me? I didn't understand. What is it that you're trying to get to me? Are you trying to ask me strategies? Are you trying to ask me if I'm going to use, which steps I'm going to use? And then you can, and that also gives the interviewer an understanding or an insight into, oh yes, this person is actually listening to my questions and thinking, very important, thinking about what I'm saying. So it's not just you have a question and then you vomit out, and sometimes the answers are so off tangent that straight away we know that, okay, this person hasn't got any experience and hasn't, or the CV is not matching with what they are saying. It is important that your CV must reflect what you've done, so that the questions that are asked will also be within that capability. And of course, like Miss Grace said, professionally dressed. Do not come on dress holding your phone and moving all the time. Yes, we have had people do that. We have had people lying down and sitting there, lying on the bed and trying to do an interview. I'm quite strict about it. I will tell them to get up, sit at a chair, place their phone at a proper angle, and then talk to us, because we deserve that much of respect. Just like Incluzun gives you as much respect, we also expect that much of respect back. All right, Grace, it's all yours now.
Thank you, Ms. Hamid. Yeah, I want to go back to part of the preparation for the interview. So Ms. Amit mentioned CV. Please, you need to read every information on your CV. Every information on your CV is all about you. You know, we have some people that you have someone that's probably made the CV for you, constructed the CV for you. So you don't even have the idea of what the person puts on your CV. So please make sure you read every information about your CV, starting with your professional summary, your work experiences, and don't lie. You have to be true to yourself about your work experiences and your certification. Put the right work experiences, your certification, what you have done, and the certification you acquired. Read your CV, read every bit of the information on your CV, and try to be able to, in an interview, try to be able to speak about your professional summary, because the professional summary shows your skills. It's lay emphasis on your skills, what you can do, what you can deliver, how you can support the child, how you can work effectively with the child. So make sure you lay emphasis on your skills in an interview. So I have brief interview questions here. This question says, what will you do to assist a student who has low-level reading and writing skills? A student who has low-level reading and writing skill. So how will you give an answer to this question? There, I have another question there. What responsibilities do you have as a learning support assistant? What are your responsibilities? What can you do? This should come from what you have done in the past. What you have done. What can you do? What are your responsibilities as a learning support assistant? Then another question here is, can you describe how you would deal with an autistic child having a tantrum or maladaptive behavior? How will you deal with an autistic child that is having a tantrum or maladaptive behavior? How will you do? How will you support the child? This happens in the classroom. What will you do as an LSA? So in most cases, you can apply scenario-based answer. In the event of an autistic child experiencing a tantrum or displaying maladaptive behavior, my first priority is to ensure their safety and well-being. Then I would employ de-escalation techniques, such as providing a quiet space, using calming sensory tools, and employing effective communication strategies. Effective communication strategies, you know. So I believe in proactive behavior, support plans to address triggers and prevent such situations when possible, fostering a positive and structured learning environment. So you need to have a good idea of strategies to use for various symptoms or functions like focus, engagement, fine motor skills, meltdown, disruptive behavior. All these are what you should be expecting in an interview. Then what are the effective ways? Another question is this: what are the effective ways that you feel you can support students with additional needs? What are the effective way you feel you can support students with additional needs? You know, and also read every information during your preparation. Read every information once again about the curriculum. Then understand how different it may be to other curriculums. You're talking of IB curriculum, talking of British, American, Canadian, Indian curriculum. So here you can make use of STAR approach to answer scenario-based question. Yeah, we have the situation, that is S in the STAR is the situation, the T is the task, the A is the action, and the R is the result. I'm sure you must be familiar with this STAR approach. So the situation is set the context for your story. What happened, what happened with your students in the classroom, that is the setting a context. The T is the task. Explain the task or challenge you face. Then the action, what action did you take to address the task or the challenge? Your result, that is the outcome of your action. How effective was your action? So all these are the interview. Then the post-interview, your post-interview, you can send a thank you email if if you communicate through the email. So you can send a thank you email. You can follow up on WhatsApp. Just send a simple message, appreciation message on WhatsApp, follow it up,